Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Divorce Happens, the podcast where we support you before, during, and after divorce with education, inspiration, a little bit of laughter, and everything you need because, as you know, divorce happens and then you start fresh. And we're here with one of our fave experts, Abbey Sangmeister. Abbey, what do you do and who are you?
I am a therapist and coach, and I love working with people who are on like a unique journey and transitioning into a new phase of life, whatever season that might be. Sometimes it's something that happens to us and it's unexpected, and sometimes it's something that we're dreaming of. And maybe you're like, yes, I've wanted this divorce and I'm heading
Mm,
into it. And how can I make that transition something that I really want to happen, and how can I do it
mm,
without feeling like overwhelmed? And there's so many steps to a divorce, like not feeling burned out and feeling scattered and then like
yeah.
losing yourself in the process.
Yeah, and as you're talking, I'm thinking about like how we could reframe divorce in so many ways, right? There's so much we can instead of maybe being something that depletes our soul, maybe it's something that like completes our soul. I want to market that
Yeah.
one. And so I think from your perspective, you do this with people all day long.
Mhm.
Divorce is something that is a full-time job in itself, just the
Mhm.
process to get through, right? And not to mention when you're also managing your ex's emotions and your children's emotions and the lawyer's emotions, whatever. Um, how can we prevent ourselves, Abby, from like being the thing that just gets taken down by all this?
Mhm. And don't forget like your friends' emotions and your other family
Oh
member, like
yeah,
everyone.
so many
Um,
people.
Sometimes, like, it just popped in my head is, um, my mom had cancer. When you think about cancer patients too, like, so many people are like, "But what about me?" And, like, we forget about the patient, quote, unquote, and,
Yeah.
like, so you're kind of like the patient in this, like, let's take care of yourself and let other people manage their emotions, so set those boundaries, be very
Mm,
clear about what that might be, and it's okay to
mm,
be if you're on the phone or you're even having dinner with someone, be like, "I'm not talking about this," like, you
mm.
might have it's okay to say, like, "I know you have your feelings." When it comes to your
Yeah.
kids, I think that's different, and finding,
Yeah.
like, times to connect, and you can still set that boundary, be like, "I can't talk
Right.
about this right now. Like, we can come back to this."
Right. 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 Okay. So if you're going through a divorce and you're listening to this and you're feeling totally burnt out, like you're managing, like you said, everybody's emotions, work, house, and the divorce process. What are just like a couple really simple tips for like bringing like yourself back from that burnout place?
Yeah, I think finding small moments in the day. So
Hmm.
while, like, you're running, your kids to school and you're trying to get your stuff together for work, and then your attorney's calling and
Yeah.
your house is on the market, finding 5 minutes. It might be that you get in the car a little bit early for car pickup and you sit there and you put on your favorite
Mm,
music. Um, Maybe it's making sure that you schedule coffee for that friend that like, really supports
yeah.
you and you can have that conversation, or that can just hold space and just be there for you. But finding small moments throughout the day, and you're not gonna remember to do this because life is crazy. Just
Mm,
plug it in and plug, like, 5 minutes and put the why. Like, maybe you put something specific. Maybe you're gonna do some tapping or breath work or journaling, or pick up your favorite, like, cheesy book that you like to read or
mm,
whatever, listening to the podcast, and, like,
mm,
remind yourself, and you put it in there and put the why, and how does it make
mm,
you feel after you do it? Because then you're gonna remember to do it. If you're like, "Oh, we're just gonna listen to the podcast," and then you don't put, like, the why
mm,
behind it, or
mhm,
how it makes you feel after,
mm.
then you're less likely to do it.
You mean put it in your calendar?
Yeah, put it in your calendar.
I like that. Yeah, especially for like a busy working mom who's going
Mhm.
through a divorce. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I find like the car is a really special sacred place. Like for me it was like really sacred to have that like alone space, especially
Mhm.
as we know a lot of people don't get the opportunity to move out right away or for their ex
Yeah.
to move out, so you're living with somebody who is very maybe not enjoying your presence. And so
Mhm.
having the car I think is really special, and I love that tool of just adding like 5 minutes to
Yeah.
just sit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
um
creating some type of space, if you're in your house and your ex is still living there, where can you start creating a small space just for you?
mhm, mhm.
Like, that you can go to and catch your breath throughout the day.
Yeah, because so much of
and we
this is
can.
just about, like, our nervous system, right? It's
Mhm,
like being able to just, like, recalibrate, right, our
mhm,
nervous system. Okay, what about when it comes to other people, Abby? There's so
mhm,
many people that, like to have their word when you were going through a divorce. What is
mhm.
a easy, kind way that you can say, like, I cannot handle this right now"?
Um, Sandwich it. I always love, like, the conversation sandwich, like, "Thank you so much for thinking about me," or, "Oh, that article looks great, but I don't have the capacity for it right now." And saying exactly what you need. It doesn't
Mm,
mean that they're going to do it, but I think just getting clear on, like,
mhm, mhm,
"I need you to, just talk to me about, like, normal day-to-day stuff," or, "I need
mm.
you to, like, drop off dinner to myself and the
Yeah,
kids," and be
yeah,
specific of, like, what that dinner is gonna be, because people just aren't thinking, which I know feels like more work at first, but it's
yeah,
better than someone, like, giving you something that you really don't need in that moment.
yeah.
And it's okay to say I use the word capacity, um, but or, like, my tank is full, like, whatever it is with people, and I just don't have the capacity for this conversation.
Mhm.
I'll call you when I can talk more, but thank you so much.
Yeah, that's nice, I like that. I like to say slammed. I'm so slammed right now,
Mhm,
but, like, I'll get back
mhm.
to you as soon as I'm yeah. I love that, I love that. Okay, Abby, so what do you do, and how do you work with people? And if somebody's listening to this and they're like, "I really need help. I'm so burnt out. How can Abby
Yeah,
help me?"
yeah. So I work all virtual sessions, um, and then I do have some, like, workshops, and I have a tired mom meetup that
Mm,
any mom can join that happens throughout the year and has, like, a theme tied to it. But, I mean, people can reach out through my website, and we can schedule a call and discuss what your goals are and what kind of supports. And so with my
mhm,
coaching, the difference with my coaching is I bring my 14 years of experience as a therapist. I
mhm,
can't
mhm.
turn that off, and so you
Yeah,
get
love
some
it.
of these components that really have a lot of interventions and strategies behind them to help you move into a different place. And it's also your, like, might be your only self-care. Like, that's your time,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
often
yeah,
think people don't realize, like, that's your their hour sessions, that's your 60 minutes where it's all about you. Whatever you wanna
yeah,
talk about, whatever you need support on, that's your time.
yeah. The couple of things about you that I love, Abby. One is that you work with people on their actual calendars, right? You sit down with them and go
Mhm.
through really what's happening, right? It's not a theoretical thing. You really look at what's going on in their life, which I think is so cool.
Yeah, because I think we can really curate our calendars to allow us to have clear space. And
Yeah.
one, we can't always see it because we're so
Mhm.
in the midst of it, so taking that
Yeah.
time. And the other part is that permission. Like,
Right.
you have permission to have, like, a day off. You have permission to,
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
put your phone away and, like, not wear
Yeah.
your watch, for the
Right.
day or an
Right.
hour.
Right.
And so how do you do that? So some of it's creating that space in your calendar, and I can see where there's space where we can
Yeah.
say, "Oh, you have that, networking event or something," like,
Right.
let's use a decision-making model and kind of, like, go through it. Do we really
Mm.
need to say that? Did you
Yeah.
say maybe
Yeah.
and you made it a yes? Like, how can we actually
Right.
make that a no and clear space?
And the other thing I'm going to say, you said this a while ago to me on another podcast we did, but I never forgot it. Is that when you're going through a divorce in particular, to build time in before and after you talk to your lawyer into your
Yes.
calendar, because it is such an emotional process. Because I remember we were discussing how I used to get sidelined for the entire day. If I had to talk to my lawyer at 2, I'd wake up at as soon as I woke up thinking about it, I would think about it until we talked, and I would think about it till I went to sleep, and I could not get work done. I could barely parent. I was a mess. And
Mhm,
so you said, well, why don't you schedule in, right, an hour before and an hour after and give yourself that time to just process that. And it was such a powerful method. And so if you're listening to this and going through the divorce process, I highly recommend reaching out to Abby and scheduling that call and saying like, okay, help me figure this out so I don't get burnt out during this process, because
mhm.
you have so much else going on, right? Selling a house, maybe finding a job, or dealing with your kids school, or dealing with your ex, right? So get the support you need
Mhm.
in figuring out how to use your time so that you don't get completely burnt out, because then it could take years, right, to get
Yeah,
back. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, and so
Yeah.
one of the pieces too is with my clients, They have, like, ability to text or email me, and sometimes we even schedule the sessions around court if they're going to court or
Mm,
mediation, or if they know, like,
yeah,
there's a tough exchange if you have kids and there's gonna be a
right,
tough potential
right.
exchange with
The
your
ex, yeah.
ex, like, we'll plan the session either for before or after, and so, like,
Yeah,
with the texting and email capability, like,
yeah,
I can give you, like, "Cheer you on," like, "Here we go," and then we can process after, or a
yeah.
session beforehand to get you ready for what that might look like.
I love that so much. So, Abby, if somebody's listening to this and they're going through a divorce
Mhm.
process or they're considering divorce, what would be some words of encouragement that you could leave them with?
Slow down. I know one, I know understand the process can take a long time, but also, like, you can slow down. Like, it's gonna happen, it will happen in the midst of it. Slow down, don't lose yourself
Mhm.
in it, because we want you to, like, end the process and still have yourself and
Yeah,
not have to then do all this extra
right,
work to
right.
find yourself again.
I love that. I love that. Well, you can reach out to Abby via her website, which is in the show notes, or obviously find her at Fresh Starts Registry in the expert guide. Abby, we are so appreciative of you and all the work that you do. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.